Ako želiš češće da slušaš Gorana i pratiš njegov rad, bez algoritama i bez cenzure, otvoren je Patreon nalog Goran Potkonjak. Čekaju te programi zatvorenog tipa, emisije, predavanja i snimci iz privatne kolekcije autora. Sadržaji koji nisu namenjeni široj javnosti. Cilj je prikupljanje donacija za osnivanje Instituta metafizika. Kao član, mesečnom donacijom dobijaš neograničen pristup svim ekskluzivnim sadržajima.
Svi koji žele da se prijave da prate preko zatvorenog YouTube linka, neka se prijave na mail metafizika.protokol@gmail.com. A pretplatnici Patreona Goran Potkonjak mogu integralno pratiti ciklus. Uz simboličnu donaciju prijavljeni mogu pratiti sve sadržaje neograničeno, a kolekcije se stalno dopunjuju iz mnogih oblasti, od metafizike do umjetnosti. Glavne oblasti tokom života koje se istraživao mogu se svesti na umjetnost, muziku, film, ali i metafiziku i istoriju. Što vidimo sada i na tvojim predavanjima, na svim prethodnima i na svemu ovom sada što si podijelio i rekao ovdje. Posebno tvoje objave, tvoje otkrića, baš zato što su jedinstvene i unikatne kao pogledi na tu temu, a ne samo i kao dubinsko istraživanje. Međutim, još kao tinejdžer si vrlo studiozno i vrlo posvećeno istraživao još jednu temu, a to je religija.
Jeste, da. Ja sam čak završavao i neke teološke kurseve. Zaista sam bio zavođen za religijom, misleći da ću tu naći odgovore za ono što je sakriveno u Bibliji. Međutim, Isus nije jedna ličnost. Tu su najmanje dve ličnosti. Grubo rečeno, evanđelski Isus, mistični Isus, pravo hrišćanstvo, čak još gnostičkog tipa, je jedna, da kažemo, ličnost. Istorijski Isus, koji je napravila crkva, da kažem, nova hrišćanska era, to je druga ličnost. I iako ne znamo tačno ko je ta Isus, koja je ta ličnost bila stvarno u životu, jer nije ono što prikazuju evanđelja, mistični Isus, to je filozofsko učenje. I to je učenje koje je samo rezervisano za one koji su inicirani, koji su upućeni, koji tragaju za višim nivoima duhovnosti. Ali crkvi je bio neophodan, da bi vladala narodom, neophodan istorijski Isus. Zašto? Zato što morate da imate čoveka kao što je svaki čovjek, od krvi i mesa. Neku konfabulaciju, neku koja je amorfna, koju ne znate ni da li je živio, nije živio, da li je to preneseno značenju, nije. Vi ste morali da imate čoveka koji mora da bude žrtvan i da umre. Znači da bude raspet. Zašto? Samo iz jednog razloga. Da bi vaskrso. Jer ako hrišćanstvu oduzmete muke, odnosno vaskrsenje, vi nemate hrišćanstvo. Jer crkvi nije bio bitan Isusov život i Isusovo učenje. To je ono usputno. Bitno je vaskrsenje. Zato je uvek Golgota prikazivana vizuelno kroz slikarstva. Zato je uvek vaskrsenje bio suština mučenja, život večni i tako dalje. A da bi imao istorijski Isus verodostojnost, vi morate da ga locirate na nekom mestu i u neko vreme, ali tako, ne može da bude ne zna se kad i gde. I onda su smislili lokalitet gde je on živeo i vreme, Judeju, i u vreme cara Tiberija. Otprilike, dobro, i za vreme Avgusta je, ako to služimo se starom hronologijom. Dakle, vi imate kontekst koji vam govori da je Isus bio živ čovek. Jer imate materijalni grad, materijalnu državu, materijalni narod. Međutim, ljudi koji su širili znanje o Hristu, evanđelisti, na primjer. Imamo ovu četvorku Mateja, Marka, Luku i Jovana. Tu se zataškavaju stvari koje i u ovom kontekstu tu i tamo ako neko je ozbiljan egzegeta i proučava i spise koji su vezani za Bibliju, nisu sama Biblija, prilično intrigiraju. Naprimer, zašto Jovanovo evanđelje ne spada u sinoptičko evanđelje? Pa zato što je mistično. Zato što je uzeto iz gnostičkog učenja. Naprimer, ili Markovo koje se smatra da je izvorno, odnosno najstarije. Znate, recimo, kod Marka u evanđelju Marko ne pominje, nemate nigde vaskrsenje. Marko ne pominje vaskrsenje. A to je najvažnija stvar za hrišćanstvo. Onda recimo, dobro, Marko je bio Petrov učenik, tako da je on posredno. Znači, on nije očevidac. On ne može da govori iz prve ruke da je doživeo ono što je pisao Isusov život. Kao ni Luka koji je bio lekar Pavla. A ni Pavle nije uživo upoznao Isusa. Svako ko malo poznaje Bibliju reći će, znamo, Matej je bio carinik. Znaš, to je opšte poznata stvar. Kao što su Andrej i Petar bili braća ribari, pa su oni se bavili ribolovom. Tako je Matej bio carinik. Čekaj, kakav carinik? Čega carinik? Zašto carinik? Pa zato što je morao da bude čovek pismen. Znaš, on je sabirao. Znaš, koliko čega. Znaš, čovek od poverenja. Zašto mora da bude pismen? Pa zato što poslije treba da napiše taj Matej evanđelje. Kako će napiše ako je nepismen, je li tako? Znači, hoću da kažem, za vulgatu, za primitivne ljude je to dovoljno da ih ubedi da je to to. Ti znaš, Leone, ko je bio Matej? Carinik. Kraj priče. Nemoj dalje ništa da preispituješ. A to što ni za Mateja, ni za Marka, ni za Luku, ni za Jovana nema ni jedan istorijski dokument da su postojali. Nema dokaza nikakvog. To nema veze. To ćemo da odbacimo i da samo preispitujemo šta su oni napisali.
Hvala ti što si već samim ovim izrečenim dovoljno zainteresovao sve nas za tvoje predavanje. Ali ne samo i za predavanje, nego za zapravo dublju spoznaju. Šta se zapravo stvarno krije u toj religiji, u evanđelju, u Bibliji. Ko zna šta si još zapravo otkrio od tih tinejdžerskih dana ili kad si bio posvećen istraživanju religije.
Pa evo, jedna od stvari koje sam otkrio je vezano za tumačenje otkrovenja Jovanovog, Apokalipsu. Zašto? Zašto sam se načitao i naslušao bezbroj tumačenja, a vi morate znate za koga se to piše da biste mogli da pretpostavite ko piše. A onda ako imate taj kontekst ispravan, znaćete i šta znače parabole. Bez toga, ako vi mislite da je Jovan na Patmosu pisao stvarno negde krajem 1. veka nove ere, tamo u nekoj pećini, u nekom zatvoru, pre smrti, vi ćete sve da isgrešite i šta god protumačili, to će biti pogrešno. Jer ne znate kontekst. Hoću da kažem, sve se uklapa kad imaš osnovu kako treba. Odmah ti se uklapaju, hteo ti ili ne, mnoge stvari.
U suštini ovo što si rekao, kad imamo pravi smjer ili pravu nit, džemper se otkriva, odnosno raspara. Da. Da se samo malo vratimo na te drevne civilizacije i kad si pomenuo Denikena i da si bio zaluđen tim avanturama i onim što je on predstavio, govorio, prenosio. Ali moje pitanje je, ti si imao razgovor sa njim.
Da, imali smo Velja i ja smo razgovarali i to je bilo, sad više se nećam, pre nekoliko godina. Dragan Vujčić je vodio novinar taj razgovor, a mi smo bili tu da postavljamo pitanja jer računao je Dragan da ćemo mi, pošto smo se bavili njim, odnosno ja sam maltene svaku knjigu njegovu pročitao, a Velja je hteo apropo vanzemaljaca, Tesle, piramide u Bosni i tako dalje da pita neke stvari jer prosto sumnjao je u to. On je odgovorio na to, a ja sam u stvari hteo da ga pitam da nešto što je mene kopkalo još od njegove druge knjige 68. 9. godine, 70. odnosno Sveta u svemiru, gde je on pisao o jednoj misteriji u Andima, o ripozitorijumu iz drevnih atlantiđanske civilizacije koje je čuvao otac Krespi, da ti sad ne pričam celu priču jer to sad nije bitno. I on je posle 20 i nešto godina u jednoj drugoj svojoj knjizi priznao da on u stvari tamo nije bio.
We heard that you were visited Bosnian pyramid in last years, and what's your impression on Bosnian pyramid origin? Because some say that it's an old civilization who built it, but the others say that they are actually of alien origin. What is your opinion?
I have been there and I was very impressed. Mr. Osmanovic was guiding me and my secretary to the pyramid.
Yes.
Now my personal opinion is that the mountain is a natural mountain.
Yes.
But somewhere somebody has worked on the natural mountain and has changed different parts of the mountain to look it artificially. And of course there are all these tunnels inside the mountain, which is a very, very interesting topic. So
Yes.
the mountain, in my opinion, is natural, but somebody has worked on it to make it look like a pyramid.
I
But
see.
the tunnels are of course artificial.
Yes, yes. We have in Serbia another pyramid which is very likely pyramid. It's Rtanj. Maybe you heard for it. So those proportions of Rtanj are in golden section and it looks really like a pyramid. And Mr. Clark, you know, Odyssey 2001, he once stated that he thinks that because of those measures of the mountain and the look which is completely pyramidal, he thinks that it is an artificial object of somebody. You
Well, I
haven't...
can say nothing because I don't know this pyramid and I don't know pictures. I should see the pictures or should come personally there to have a look. But Arthur C. Clarke is dead.
No, he wasn't there, but he only saw the pictures. What do you can say about today's connections of our civilization with aliens? Is there any connection which is functioning to your knowledge?
Well, I am absolutely sure, there is no doubt, that this planet Earth was visited by beings from outer space some thousands and thousands of years ago. So even if you have a high position in politics or religion or science, you cannot go to public if the time is not ready. The so-called spirit of time has to be ready. That's why we changed the spirit of time.
In August 1972, you were public in Outsat und Kosmos about unbelievable discovery in the caves of Tayos in Ecuador. Later in book History is Wrong, you explain all adventures with Juan Moritz and correspondence with Mr. Peña, etc.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question about this issue. First, you told us, I mean to the public, in book Outsat und Kosmos, that you were in exact location in caves, in ancient library with 1,000 metal plates and animal statue. Later, you explain that whole story about second subterranean entrance, but there is no evidence that Juan Moritz knows exact location of a main entrance. By the way, I should say, material in Cuenca, in Padre Crespi collection, is not evidence, because these artifacts is genuine Babylonian. Ergo, my question is, after contacts with Petronio Jaramillo and after Stan Hall, with poor results of his own expedition in 1976, and after, this is a crucial thing, after your public discovery of precise geographic location of that cave with library, then where is the problem until now? Nobody knows where is the entrance of mysterious library. And by the way...
Yes, no. In my book, you know, Falsch Programmiert, History is Wrong.
Yes.
There, I don't know what page, I give the exact geographical location.
Yes, but...
It's in my book. Just read carefully. The exact location which Stanley Hall gave to me. The exact location. I have asked Stanley Hall also, why is nobody going there?
Yes.
And he said, this is still the living place of an Indian tribe, and this Indian tribe don't want the civilization. If the Ecuadorian army would come there, they would shoot them, they would be war, poison. So the exact location is known geographically,
Yes, I know.
but nobody goes there. And I myself, I was never in the main entrance. I was only in one of these side entrances, and I was not allowed to give the geographical location of the side entrance, because Juan Morris said, if you do this, if you publish this, then all the adventurers go there. So I could not say the truth. I had to lie in this belonging.
Maybe Jaramillo and Juan Morris speaking about two different caves, but with the same or similar artifacts.
This is possible. Maybe, probably there are different entrances there. But
There is no evidence for this.
What's the name? He was there, in there. He said to me, yes, I was in there. We were diving in the river. We came out inside, and all these objects, they do exist.
When we speak of conspiracy theory, now what is your view about secret hole under the Great Pyramid in Egypt? I remind recently discovering sarcophags in lake under the Giza pyramids. Are they true or fake?
Now I am sure inside the Great Pyramid and under the Great Pyramid we will find more and more rooms, and we will find a library there, definitely. You see, the Great Pyramid, officially, archaeologists say it was constructed by the pharaoh Khufu or Cheops,
Yes.
2,500 BC. Cheops was a pharaoh of the 4th dynasty. But the pyramid inside, in the meantime, we know, has so many rooms, so many tunnels, so many entrances, and so that the planning of the pyramid is very, very complicated. You know, before you construct the pyramid, you have to make the planning. Before you construct, you have to plan every room, every shaft has to be planned before. You cannot do it later. So the planning, seen from the engineering point, is too complicated for the 4th dynasty at Cheops' time. You see, Cheops' father, Snorfu, and his grandfather, they came right away from Stone Age. Now every technology needs an evolution. We have to learn slowly. How do we work with granite? How do we work with sandstone? How do we move them? How do we bring them on a higher level? This is all evolution of technology. And this evolution of technology, concerning especially the planning, does not fit to Cheops' time, to the 4th dynasty. Now, there are two old Arabian writers. One is Ibrahim Abdul al-Makrisi. He has written some 1,300 years ago that the Great Pyramid was constructed before the Great Flood by a pharaoh which name was Saurit. And then they say Saurit is the same figure which the Hebrew community calls Enoch and the Greek community calls Hermes. Now Enoch is a figure, he was educated in a spaceship. Enoch was the first human who left our planet in a fiery chariot. I have published a lot of Enoch. Now there is not only Ibrahim Abdul al-Makrisi who writes about this, also the Arabian historian Abdul al-Mas'udi. He was living in the 8th century, and he clearly says that in the Great Pyramid, he says that the old pharaohs, they believed strongly in a destruction of their world. They were sure that the Great Flood would come, and the Great Flood would destroy everything. Now that the knowledge of the humans, their writings, would not be destroyed, he gave the order to construct a pyramid for the generations after the Great Flood. Now, the Great Flood happened.
Yes.
I don't know if you are aware with the writings of, for example, a historian like Diodore of Sicily, roughly 2,000 years ago. Diodore of Sicily was also in Egypt. He was standing before the Great Pyramid. He asked 2,000 years ago the locals, the priests and the scientists, who was the constructor of this pyramid. They all said, We don't know.
Yes.
Why? Because it was before the Great
Yes,
Flood.
of course.
So even the old Arabian, the old Egyptian, 2,000 years ago, they did not know who was the Great Pyramid. Theodore says, this gigantic building is here, standing in the desert, and we don't see even a ramp, not the rest of a ramp, where they move their blocks up there. Of course you see nothing of a ramp, because the flood, the water, destroyed everything. And with flood, I do not mean something like in the Bible, the Great Flood. The flood was simply a changing of the axis of the pole. This goes for a few years. Everything which in land is water. Millions of people will die because the magnetic pole always changes. This could happen practically every year in our generation too. So the old Egyptians, they knew this. And from whom they knew it? They knew it from Enoch. Enoch alias Saurit alias Hermon. He again, Enoch knew it from the extraterrestrials. And Enoch was the one who gave the order to construct the pyramid. Now today, with our modern knowledge, with our modern technology, we find always more rooms and shafts in the Great Pyramid. The planning and the constructing is becoming every day more complicated. The planning was done by a high society in the past and was done for a high society culture in the future. For us, I am sure, in the pyramid and under the pyramid, we will find more rooms and we will find the books of the time of Enoch. That's the next shock for mankind.
What is your opinion about lake and sarcophags under the Great Pyramid?
Yes, there is a lake. It's not the big lake. I was down there. With my secretary twice. I made good pictures. In my second last book, you find these pictures. We were down, it's more or less under the pyramid, not directly, it's a few meters behind it. We were down there. There is a lake, absolutely clear water, and in the water is a sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is covered by water.
Yes.
I made 20 wonderful pictures of it. Some of them I have in my latest books.
Maybe Zaki Havas knows and keep it secret.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Erich von Däniken je vrlo ozbiljna figura. On je bio podržan od strane duboke države, kako bi danas rekli, odnosno od tih globalista koji čine mind control. Da li je to za vanzemaljce, pa je se on naslonio kao i Sičin vezano za ancient aliens, ili ti da su drevne civilizacije napredne zapravo stvorili vanzemaljci koji su posetili zemlju, do toga da celokupna arheologija koju je on svojim knjigama, da kažemo, popularizovao, je zapravo bio osnov globalnog mind kontrola. Da mi poverujemo da su te stvarne civilizacije postojale, pa sad druga stvar da ćemo verujemo da su vanzemaljci, što je bila njegova priča, ili, odnosno državna priča, to su službe gurale. On je samo bio glasnogovornik kome su izlazili u susret i on je od toga dobro profitirao privatno. On je sam rekao u jednom trenutku, ja sam zaslužan za novi duh vremena. I to je istinu rekao, samo što niko nije razumeo na šta je mislio. Nije on mislio to samo na vanzemaljce, mislio je na očvršćivanje priče da su arheološki artefakti, arheološka nalazišta zapravo istina koja se ne preispituje, samo je on dao neki novo tumačenje vezano za drevne astronaute, odnosno vanzemaljsku civilizaciju i tehnologiju. Tu je on otišao. Međutim, on je pokrio i ubedio ogromnu masu ljudi u proteklih 50 godina. Koliko on deluje. Kasnije su krenuli drugi, Graham Hancock i ovi koji su još živi, ali on zaista načinio izuzetno veliku stvar je uradio. I taj intervju je dosta pokazao stvari. Jeste da nije bio dugačak, ali meni je mnogo toga rekao. Dovoljno kada je rekao da su ljudi sletali na mesec i da je on razgovarao sa Ed Mitchellom. Mislim, ako je to argument da je to tačno, super. Tako da onda i ja sam gledao nasine snimke i ja verujem da je Zemlja globus. Pa da, vidio sam nasilne snimke. Yes. Mr. Deniken,
Yes.
do you believe in 1969 landing on the moon?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
I know there are contradictions. I know the stories which speak again. I know the stories with light and shadow and the flag and all these things.
Yeah.
But everything can be explained. I personally knew many different astronauts, American astronauts personally, and also ex-Soviet astronauts. And the Americans, they have left different objects on the moon. Not only a flag, there are different other objects on the moon. And astronauts of the future, they will find these objects. I also knew Wernher von Braun, who was the constructor of Saturn V. I also knew Joseph Blumrich, who was the chief of the construction at NASA. All these people were brilliant engineers. None of them were liars. They definitely were on the moon, even if there are some contradictions, but the contradictions are explainable. We now know how it works.
And after that?
But did they meet aliens on the moon? There is also a story about that. When they
I hear
landed.
the story, but
Yeah.
I have nothing to say because I have no proofs. I don't know what is proof or not. I know, for example, the American astronaut Ed Mitchell. He was the sixth man on the moon.
Yeah.
I knew him very, very well. We had many discussions with four eyes. And he told me I was officially instructed that we would see some objects out there which are not human. And we were not allowed, on the radio, to use words like UFO, extraterrestrials, etc. We always have to use code words.
What?
I asked him, have you seen a UFO on the moon or on your trip? He said, no. I have never seen a UFO. I have never seen an extraterrestrial. But we were informed officially that if we see something, we are not allowed to speak about it on the radio with the earth.
Poštovani prijatelji, želim da vas obavestim da počinju dugo očekivana predavanja iz ciklusa Istina skrivena ispod 7 velova, koje obrađuju istoriju civilizacija koje sam održao u Beogradu, Nišu i Novom Sadu, ali i nova predavanja će biti koja sadrže materijale koje nisam objavljivo javno do sada. Svi koji žele da prisustvuju tim predavanjima, neka se prijave na mail metafizika.protokol@gmail.com i mi ćemo im dati uputstvo o tome kako pratiti predavanje. rivers and the hills, the forest and the streams. Children gaze, open mouth, taken by surprise. Nobody down below believes their eyes. We're surfing in the air, we're surfing in the air, we're swimming in the frozen sky. We're drifting over icy mountains floating by. Holding very tight, I'm riding in the midnight blue. I'm finding I can fly so high above with you. Far across the world, the villages go by like trees. The rivers and the hills, the forest and the streams. Children gaze, open mouth, taken by surprise. Nobody down below believes their eyes. We're surfing in the air, we're surfing in the air, we're swimming in the frozen sky. We're drifting over icy mountains floating by. Suddenly, swooping low on an ocean deep, rousing off mighty monster from its sleep. We're walking in the air, we're floating in the midnight sky. And everyone who sees us greets us as we fly.